Hey, this is Jessica, and I just got a request from, let me see, here's my email, DestanoooXXDanger. Sure. Anyways, he's asking, could you make a video on how to start a 10-gallon, like, starter tank, basically what you need. And since I have no life, I am applying to that response right now. Here's my 10-gallon. I bought this as a kit, which means it came with a filter, and it also came with like samples of a water conditioner and tropical flake food, which is okay if you're going with tropical fish. That's perfect. The filter depends on what type of fish you want. If you're doing a 10-gallon like tropical tank where you're getting probably some schooling fish, the filter that comes with the 10-gallon tank will be fine. Now, if you're doing goldfish, I went with the Aquaclear, and not only a regular Aquaclear. This is the Aquaclear 70. That's huge. You can also buy 10-gallon tanks without, like, the hood and a filter. You can just buy the tank. That's what we did when we got the hermit crabs. You can do that, but then you're gonna have to buy a filter and buy a hood. So it's probably cheaper to just buy the kit. It depends on what type of filter you want. Most of these kits come with Tetra filters, which aren't awful filters. They're not awful. I prefer the Aquaclears. But if you're doing like a tropical fish tank where they don't put out a big bio load, I would, I'd probably just use the Tetra filter. You could always change the filter later on. If you do want to change the filter, I would suggest for a tropical tank what I'm using on the betta tanks, the Aquaclear 20. It's the smallest filter from Aquaclear. That would be fine for tropicals. They don't put out like I said, they don't poop a lot. Not like goldfish. What you want to do with your first tank is you want to cycle it, preferably before you put fish in. I never did that. I haven't had a problem. So I'm not going to say, don't put fish in, don't put fish in. I'm not going to say anything bad about people who do that, because I did it. Because I had no idea. But you are going to want to add beneficial bacteria. As I said, if you buy a kit, it will come with a sample of the AquaSafe. If it doesn't, you can buy either Tetra AquaSafe, you can buy Prime, which is usually a little bit more expensive, but it supposedly lasts like forever. This stuff, I've had this bottle, there's still some in here, I don't know, a few months. And I got this at Walmart for like $8.99. Lasts a long time, because the treatment on this is, where is it, 5 milliliters for every 10 gallons. It's nothing. And I never do like 100% water change on my 10 gallons, so I'm not using 5 milliliters of this. What you want to do is you're going to want to get gravel or sand. Probably gravel for a beginner. Sand's kind of a pain in the butt. You can get any gravel you want. I don't suggest you do a thick layer of gravel. Like I've seen tanks where it's like up to here. The reason for that is because the thicker it is, there might be pockets below of bad bacteria. And then maybe you stirring it up later will release that pocket of like bad or even toxic bacteria. So you should keep it low, like mine. Mine's not that thick. What this is it's a 5 pound of gravel for a 5-gallon tank. You want like 1 pound of gravel or 2 pounds of gravel per every gallon. So for a 10-gallon tank, you'd want at least 10 pounds of gravel, at least. And if you want a little more, you can go a little more. But I wouldn't do like when you can watch one of my beginning videos where I had like black and red gravel, and it was fairly thick. It was a little too thick. You would also want a siphon right off the bat, which is one of these, because you go down into the gravel and it sucks up. It won't suck up the gravel, but it will suck up all the dirt and poop out of the gravel. Very handy. You want that right off the bat. It also makes water changes easier. So you'll need a bucket as well, which most people just have a bucket. You don't particularly need like the algae scrubbers right away, like these, because you're not going to get algae right away. If you're doing tropical tank, you're going to want a heater right away. Usually heaters that you can set yourself are preferred, but I have preset heaters and it is fine. It stays where it should. So I'll show you, I'll talk more about the cycle. You're going to do a fishless cycle. You're going to want to probably have the tank at least a week ahead of time, probably to 2 weeks. I've heard it takes a cycle to establish, which means you're going to want, you get your tank all ready, gravel, always rinse your gravel, rinse everything you get. If you buy some ornaments like this, you know, rinse it. Just like these, you have to, hollow ornaments you have to make sure you clean out, like check them every water change to make sure they're not too slimy on the inside. If they're slimy, scrub them out, because that can harbor also nasty stuff that your fish might get sick from. So you're going to want to set up your tank, you're going to want to set up your filter, which the filter will have instructions, they're not too hard. And you're going to run everything. Run your filter, have it going. I'll show you what there is. This stuff you can use, Nutrient Cycle. This is a biological aquarium supplement. Follow the instructions where I think you do a whole capful. It even tells you day 1 and day 2 and day 3 what to do. Anyways, you can use Nutrient Cycle, or there's also a Safe Start from Tetra. Like if you want to stay with like Tetra products, whatever, there's something called Safe Start. It's usually it's a green label on the yellow bottle, and with that you're adding the whole bottle into the tank. So you're buying a bottle size based on the size of your tank. The smallest bottle of Safe Start is good for a 10 gallon. You dump the whole bottle in. This stuff is different. Supposedly the Tetra is really good. It works. I use this and I guess it works because I haven't had, you know, a fish sick because of a non-cycle tank. You should have a test kit when you're cycling a tank, because what happens is a cycle maintains 0 ammonia in a tank. When a fish poops, it produces ammonia. The ammonia needs to be turned into nitrite, and that nitrate needs to turn into nitrate. So when you know a tank is cycled, the ammonia and nitrite will be at 0. Every time you test the water, ammonia 0, nitrite 0. Nitrate, there should be nitrates. Because some people say, oh, I have no nitrates. That's bullshit. Sorry for the language, that's bull. That's actually probably something wrong in the tank if you're showing up no nitrates. Unless you just did a water change. Just did a large water change, may not be nitrates showing up right away. There should be nitrates, but not high nitrates. A lot of people say the rule of thumb is like no more than 20 parts per million. If you see like 20 parts per million, do a water change. And with tropicals, I'm sure it won't even get that high. Usually the goldfish that get that high with me. I know when I tested from the Bettis tank, I got a reading of like 5 to 10 parts per million of nitrates. And if you have plants, like live plants, that helps with nitrates. You might not want to do that right away. I don't suggest doing it right away. Wait till the tank is cycled, and, you know, because it's expensive buying all this. So, because what happens with plants is the plants' nutrients is the fish poop. So the plants like nitrates, so it lowers the nitrates. I just got distracted by, looks like gunk underneath this plant. I don't know, I just did a water change, but I didn't check like rocks or stuff when I did a water change, so I might have to do that. But anyways, back to the cycle. If you want, so that's the best way to do is fishless. What you do is you pour in this stuff and you test your water. What you can even do is put a couple of flakes of food in the water to create an ammonia. Like when that food is not being eaten because there's no fish in your tank, it's gonna rot and produce ammonia. Because you're gonna want to test your tank and keep testing it until you see the 0 ammonia, 0 nitrites, and then some nitrates. if you're getting readings of ammonia and nitrates, tank's not cycled yet. Doesn't mean you can't have fish. I did it. What you have to do is more water changes to make sure the fish aren't harmed by the ammonia and the nitrate in the tank. But you're still going to want to put the cycle in to jumpstart it. What you could also do is, if you know someone who has an established filter with the cycle, get a piece, ask them for a piece of their media. And be like, have a piece of floss, filter floss that has like their beneficial bacteria on it. Don't rinse it. Don't rinse anything in tap water because it will kill it. You want to rinse anything in water that's been dechlorinated with the AquaSafe conditioner, and you can put that in your filter, and then boom, your cycle's there. If you can get used like filter floss from an established tank, you have your cycle right away. So that would be ideal, but who can do that, you know? That's how I did my second Bettas tank. I took out filter floss from this one. But if you want to put the fish in right away, definitely use either a cycle or a safe start from Tetra. I don't know if there's any other brands that have it. I just know these two. And add your fish and just do water changes a lot until you know the tank is cycled, until you're getting readings of 0 ammonia, 0 nitrate, and nitrates. You also might want aquarium salt at the beginning, because aquarium salt, what it is with it, it lets the fish, it makes the fish more easier when the tank's not cycled. It lets them a little bit more comfortable in water that has nitrates in it. And you just follow what the aquarium salt container says on it, because different fish require different amounts of salt. Oh, here's my salt. This is what you want, aquarium salt. They have smaller containers, like half size of this, so that wouldn't be that expensive at that point. Even Walmart carries it usually. It's a general tonic stress reducer for tropical fish. You want 1 rounded tablespoon for every 5 gallons. So you just follow that, and just use it at the beginning until your tank cycles. Then I would not use it again. The trick with this is it doesn't evaporate. Like when your water of a line evaporates, salt doesn't evaporate. So you don't want to, like, if you do a partial water change, don't add this much salt back into the tank. You will end up with salt water, which will kill your fish. Salt is also good to have on hand in case a fish gets sick. Fin rot, even ick, can be cured and treated with just salt, not the medication that you buy. That's also a good reason to have a heater, because with ick and even fin rot, you want to keep the water a little bit warmer, especially if you have, like, I can't do with my preset heaters, but if I had one that I could set, like right now my water temp is usually 78. What I would do if my fish had ick or fin rot, I would move it up to 80, maybe even a little warmer depending on the fish. If it's tropical, you could probably bump it up to like 82, and then you want a salt, and that can cure ick alone without doing medications for fin rot. Goldfish, I'd want to move it up just to 80, nothing higher. So it's good to have salt anyways, just in case something happens. Obviously you need food, like I said. Usually the 10-gallon kits come with a sample of flake food for tropicals. So if you have if you have tropical fish, you'll have some flake food, so you probably don't have to buy some right away. But if you're going to have any type of other fish, you'll have to just buy food according to the fish type, which will be at the aquarium store or wherever you decide to go. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. Some kits have different type of lighting available. Like I got the cheapest 10-gallon kit, so I ended up with incandescent lights. But I know there was another kit that was a little bit more expensive that had like a better lighting. That may be something to think about if you want like a natural planted tank eventually, because I can't do that with this lighting. I can have anubias because they're low lighting, easy plants, but I wouldn't want anything else, like any other type of plant. So I went with the cheapest, which was just the regular light bulb. So that's just for future reference. You know, sometimes it gets expensive and you buy something and then go, oh, I want to do this instead, and realize you don't have the tools for that. But that's pretty much what you need to start a tank. Is you need your water conditioner, which is the AquaSafe, which I put back over there. AquaSafe. You're gonna need that. You're gonna need some cycle, whether or not you put the fish in right away. A test kit you should have. They can be expensive, but I've also heard of people buying them for like 20 bucks. I bought mine for like 40, unfortunately, because I couldn't get mine online. This is the one you want. You want a liquid drop test kit. The strips aren't accurate. And this tests everything. It will be your nitrate, ammonia, and also pH. I don't worry about my pH. I never really thought about my pH. Just knowing until until I decided to test it finally. My pH is fairly high, which is fine. Most fish can handle pH differences as long as the pH stays like stable. Like I have a high pH, it's almost like 8. It's like 7 point. I think it's at 7.8, but it stays at 7.8. It doesn't fluctuate, so that's fine. Just like if you have kind of a low pH, as long as it stays low, you'll be fine. It's when it fluctuates that is bad. Of course, you want to, when you first get fish, you want to acclimate them to the tank, which means you'll want to hang the bag on the tank, like to remove the top, just have the bag sitting in the water so it gets the temperatures match. And the best way to do it is then to slowly start adding the clean aquarium water to the bag, not the other way around. You don't want their water touching your aquarium water because you don't know how clean it is. And a lot of people say do it for like an hour. I've never done it for that long. I think the longest I acclimated my fish was like 20 minutes, and they were fine. What I did to not mix their water with my water is I poured the fish from the bag into my net. So you're gonna have to buy a net, but they're cheap. They're like $2 over a bucket. So none of the water touched my tank, and then I dropped the fish in quickly. It's a little harder with bettas because I don't use nets with bettas because of their fins. I use their cup. So what I think I did is I filled this up with some conditioned water, and I put his cup water into this one, so it mixed together. So it's kind of diluting the crop water that he came with. And then I cupped him again and dumped him into my tank. So not too much bad water got into my tank. But with tropicals, you're not going to have a problem with using the net. So I don't want to make this video any longer, because it's like 18 minutes right now and counting. And that is what I would do. If you have any more questions, keep asking. I might have missed stuff. As long as you start off with like a cycle, definitely water conditioner, some food, and a tank, you can do it. Okay, so thanks for the request, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.